Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the new video. Today I have a very exciting one for you. We are going to be making the trance lush warm pad that we all know from tracks like this one. Or this one. Or this one. We're gonna be using Dune 3, which is absolutely amazing synth. It sounds very warm and very analog-y, and we're gonna look at how to make this trance pad sound. Before we start, I just want to tell you that this sound is actually part of my new preset pack with Ghost Etiquette, and it's available at readyformasterclass.com. Check the links in the description. Let's grab a coffee or your favorite beverage and let's do this. So how we are doing this, let's drop in a Dune 3 instance here and let's initialize the patch really quickly. There we go. And it sounds like this. Very simple saw sound that we know. Actually, to this pack, we created a very special wavetable pack. So we're going to be using some of the wavetables from that. So we're going to click on the WT, which stands for wavetable, and click here. And go down to Reg Revenant Wavetables, and today we're going to be working with a Moog Fatty wavetable. Right now the position of a sine wave, put it up to a nice saw, like this. Beautiful. That's our voice number 1. Well, we want to increase the density here to at about 8 voices. This already sounds very, very lush. Now let's spread these voices a little bit. And maybe a little less detune. Beautiful. So now let's add a second voice to make it a little bit more lush. Again, we're gonna go to the wavetables on the oscillator 2, and we choose our Moog Fatty. And again, what we are playing right now, it's actually the oscillator 1. So we need to turn on the volume over here so we can hear the other one. But we can't hear it because we have no voices set. So let's set it to 1. Nice. Let's set it to 32 voices just to make it nice. And let's fine tune it, spread it like crazy person, sort of like that. And that's our voice number 1. Now we only have 2 voices playing. We're gonna set this amount to all of the voices and turn the volume up. I like this. Okay, now we can unison between these voices as well. How about we spread it around a little to make it lush and wide. And then what's happening? When I play it, I'm hearing it as a legato because it's set to legato. Usually it's set to like 2 or 4 voices. Let's change it to 24 so we can play more of these at once. That's starting to sound pretty cool. I actually do like this. It's very, very heavy. So let's decrease the spread a little. I actually prepared a MIDI melody that we're gonna be using today. Emulate that beautiful trance sound. Let's give it a play. It already sounds pretty cool. I have to say I love this patch. Don't forget, if you don't want to do this from scratch, you can check the link in the description, head over to readyformasterclass.com and download the full preset pack for Dune 3 by me and Ghost Etiquette. Alright, so that's been done. Now let's have a look at the envelopes here. So I think we could increase the attack a little bit and give it nice long release. So when we stop it, it's just gonna, continue a little bit. Let's also play with the cutoff, which actually could give this a little bit more. And a full sustain. We can actually make it even analog. Now, the FX section. In Dune 3, you have 2 FX buses, and you can actually assign all of these over here, so you can have separate effects for each of these voices. Right now, we just want to do one for all. We're gonna start with the equalizer, so you have to activate it by clicking this little button, or click on the activate. Let's start with cutting out the low end, because we don't need those unnecessary frequencies here, and maybe boost up that high end, just like a tiny little bit. And how about some mids? I loved my low mids, so let's boost it up. Tiny bit. And some high mids. So these high mids, they could be a little bit wider, so let's give this cue a boost. I think I did overdo it a little bit, so let's ease up now on that gain and just do like a tiny little bit. Also, let's see over here if we can do a little bit of a slope downwards. Nice, that sounds pretty lush. How about now we add some chorus to this? And one thing about Dune that I love, it emulates the JP8000 chorus, and you can actually choose it here. It's absolutely brilliant and super easy to use. Let's hit our rate somewhere here, and of course it's activated, and let's see what we can do with this. Just like a tiny little bit. Nice. Okay, let's give it a delay so it spreads around a little bit. We're gonna be using a simple, and let's do it for 1, 4, and 1/8. Add some low cut, some high cut, and full width. We just want to have this really wide, and a little bit of dry cut. That's beautiful. You can hear how it spreads around. And now the most important thing, let's add the reverb. So let's add the reverb. Now we're gonna use the large whore as we have it here. Let's activate this up. Let's give it a little bit of pre-delay so it doesn't start right away, and some dry wet. And let's see how it's gonna sound. I'm gonna play with low cut. Beautiful. I think we're pretty much finished, but how about we just compress this baby just like a tiny little bit. Just a little bit. Now this sounds like a beautiful lush pad. There's so much you can do with this Dune pack. If you want to know more and dive deeper into Dune free sound design, we actually have a very nice masterclass by Paul Meyer you can check out on readyformasterclass.com. Now, as I promised before, Shane from Etiquette is here to show you how to make some really interesting sounds in Dune as well. Enjoy the watching, and I'll be right back with you.
Alright, hello, it is Shane from Etiquette. And we are celebrating the release of our new pack for Dune 3 called Revenant, together with ReOrder. And you can get it on readyformasterclass.com, or you can also hit up your favorite vendors such as MyLoops and find it there. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on Dune, some of the features that you might not know about, and make a couple patches on the fly here just to show you how we do our thing. Alrighty. So I'm going to initialize a patch here, and jump right in. Just a saw wave. You got a couple of modes that you can choose on each oscillator here. So virtual analog, where you can choose some basic waveforms, and you can also have these synced. You've on your square forms as well. You've got your pulse width, which is shown right here. And then you can also use the WT wavetable. So they've got a whole bunch of wavetables. In the pack, we've included 10 new wavetables that we've created, either by modeling synths that we have, sampling some analog gear, or just using some good old math and the wavetable editor to make some wavetables that are useful to us. And then you've also got FM synthesis here. Got two different algorithms where your feedback loop is going to happen in here, and you can mess around to get some insane sounds using that. You got your voices up here. For this first one, we are just going to start off with one voice. We're going to start off with just a good old saw wave. And we're going to make a quick acid. So I'm going to chuck the ARP on right away. You've got two different ARPs. You can assign these to different things, not just to your sequence and notes, but you can also assign in the mod matrix your ARP note or your ARP velocity to literally anything that is modulatable in Dune. And to help you use that, I'll show you quickly that if you change the mode to silent, it will no longer activate these in the traditional way that an arpeggiator would, but you can now assign those to whatever you want. And because you have two arps, you could use one as a sequencer, doing whatever mode you want. Dynamic or playback is probably what I use for most stuff. Or chords if you want to have want to be playing more than one note at a time. But for now, I'll just leave it on up. Let's make a quick pattern here. Maybe tie this one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's do this. Just a classic kind of acid vibe. Alright, so let's make this sound a little nicer. Dune has some really beautiful filters in here, some analog models, some really hard brick walls here, transistor ladder models, and what I'm going to use for acids is their nice acid low pass. Bring this down, let's bring the reservoir way up, and let's turn the envelope amount up. So right away you're hearing that we're getting a bit of an acidy sound. Let's bring our release up here. And let's switch this to analog. This changes how the shape of the filter a bit, or the filter envelope I should say. And if you want to do the length in the arpeggiator, we can do that. We've got length, swing, and slide, which is like glide between notes. And your master glide knobs here if you want to have that as well. But I'm going to leave that down and just use the filter envelope, which is affecting each individual time that the note is activated. Cool, so a real basic acid sound here. Let's maybe bring up oscillator 2. Let's make sure that it has some voices. I'm going to give it 2 voices, slightly detuned. Let's spread them a little wider. So now we're hearing that, and I'm going to flip this over to FM. Let's isolate that voice. So here the feedback knob is being affected. B is the feedback, so A, B, and C. And so I'm just going to play with the ratio here until we're happy with something. Bring the amount down a little bit there. Cool. So that's giving us a bit more of that plasticky sound. It just gives us a bit of width and character, so it's not just a sine wave. Alright, quickly moving on. I'm going to use the effect filter here. One thing about this effect filter is you can route it. So you have F1, which is filter 1, FX, which is this effect filter, and F2, which is filter 2. Your balance knob here between those two filters. And I'm going to put the effects before filters 1 and 2 so that it's actually going through the low pass, this acid low pass, after the effect that I'm going to put on, which is just a bit of light distortion. So that's just giving it a bit more bite and power. Alright, then moving on, separate from this effects bus, we have effects 1 and 2. These run in parallel, so if you're running effects 1 and 2, you'll actually double your sound. It's hard to hear there, but they're the same, but nice thing about this is these can all be dragged around, so your signal flow goes whichever way you want. So I'm going to put an EQ before this distortion that I'm going to add. I'm just going to low pass, or low cut that a little bit. So just around 85, 90. And then I'm going to add distortion. So I just want to remove some of the lows before we're distorting this. You've got a good choice of distortions that you can add here. Some saturation. I'm going to go with the Screamer. Mess with that a little bit, and then bring the wet dry down a bit.
By the way, if you like this video so far, guys, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you feel like following the channel, please feel free to do so.
And then what I want to do here is I'm going to assign this wet dry to MSEG1, which is multi-segment envelope generator. So Dune has 4 MSEGs or MSEGs, and you can draw your own envelope. So in this case, I'm just going to draw a really short tack that's affecting the dry wet of that distortion. So just for the first, like this is, let's bring it even shorter, so 60 milliseconds. You're getting a really bitey sound. The nice thing with the MSEGs is you can draw however you want an envelope to be. Whoops. You can set it to note on, key on. You can also set it to loop. So if you need more than the 3 LFOs that are provided, or you want some shapes for your LFOs that are not provided here, you can do that in an MSEG. And there's actually some presets for the MSEGs here as well. So let's look at something simple like if you want to have a sidechain, or you want to have, I don't know, a trance gate. Anything like that, you can draw yourself or choose from the presets here. Clear that, and you can also either sync them to the tempo of your track or just have them on rate, which will be in milliseconds. You can also see that you can assign that to velocity or key tracking, depending on the mode you're using. All right, so back to our sound. Let's pop on after the distortion. Let's get some EQ happening with 1 and 2 here. We can adjust the Q. So let's just bring you down for a second. Cool, I like that. And then a high shelf here. Let's try to roll off the very top. All right, and that might just be. All right, I like that. Gonna chuck a little delay on here. And let's see, let's put a little bit of room sound on here first. So let's go with, again, a nice choice of reverbs. You've got some different rooms and halls to choose from. You've got the reverb and also a shimmer room and hall, which is really nice, and some really big ambiances. I'm just going to choose studio room. No, maybe a small hall. With a little bit of tail, just to give this some room in it. And bring it down the dry wet knob a bit. And cut the lows and dampen the high frequencies, but I'm turning the color up so it is giving us more high. Oh, let's turn that on. There we go. Doy. So if I go 100. You can hear exactly what it's doing, and then bring it actually even tighter. Chuck a delay after that. Again, a good choice of modes of delays that you can choose from. I'm just gonna go with let's go with filtered. Okay, you can adjust the Q or the resonance of the filter band and where the cutoff is. I liked it where it was. Yeah. Let's bring that down a little bit. You have your polyphony up here. I'm just going to turn it to mono since it's an acid. Turn the compressor on at the end here. Again, a couple compression modes. Let's go to punch. Turn the attack to 30 milliseconds. The release down. And I'm going to give it a hefty ratio. Let's go 8 to 1. You can go up to 100 to 1 on this. So, and then you also have a limiter on the master if you need. All right, and that's our acid sound. Cool. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying the pack. If you have any questions at all, you can feel free to send them to me. You can hit me up at shane@ghostetiquette.com, and I will be happy to answer any questions or parse through anything in Dune with you. There's a few other really cool features that I'd love to touch on, but time is of the essence. All right. Much love, fam. Take care.
And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I can't wait to see you for the next one. And before you go and you feel like it, give it a thumbs up and follow the channel for more interesting videos. If you're interested in some free templates, sample packs, and, you know, stuff about music production, go ahead and check out my Patreon. It's patreon.com/ReOrderDJ. Now, enough of selling, and thank you very much for watching, and I can't wait to see you for the next video. Thank you very much. Have a great day. See you soon. Ciao.